BingX, a trusted global crypto exchange. Trade spot, futures, or copy top traders easily. Sign up via the link or referral code to get 30 USDT instantly, plus up to 1,500 USDT in bonuses for verification, deposit, and trading.
The escalating conflict in Sudan has reached a critical point, with the United Nations Secretary General António Guterres issuing a stark warning. The civil war is spiraling out of control. This grave declaration comes amid a desperate plea for an immediate cessation of hostilities and an end to the pervasive violence that has plunged the nation into one of the 21st century's most devastating humanitarian crises. The gravity of the situation is underscored by the recent seizure of El Fasher in Darfur by the Rapid Support Forces, or RSF, following an arduous 18-month siege. Disturbing reports and video evidence have emerged, allegedly showing RSF soldiers committing horrific acts, including the shooting of civilians, with chilling accounts originating even from within the town's maternity hospital. This unchecked brutality has intensified scrutiny on the UAE, reportedly a backer of the RSF, prompting questions about their willingness to disengage from the militia. The ongoing two-year war, pitting the Sudanese Armed Forces, SAF, against the RSF, has resulted in a catastrophic loss of life, with over 150,000 individuals reportedly killed and more than 14 million forced to flee their homes. The International Criminal Court has announced it is actively gathering evidence of alleged mass killings, widespread rape, and other heinous crimes committed in El Fasher, highlighting the systematic nature of the atrocities. Secretary General Guterres implored the warring factions to come to the negotiating table. Bring an end to this nightmare of violence, now. Speaking on the sidelines of the World Summit for Social Development in Qatar, he emphasized that El Fasher and its surrounding regions in North Darfur have become a focal point of immense suffering, characterized by hunger, extreme violence, and mass displacement. The situation, he noted, has worsened daily since the RSF's entry into El Fasher last weekend, trapping hundreds of thousands of civilians in a brutal siege where individuals are succumbing to malnutrition, disease, and direct violence. This urgent call for de-escalation coincided with discussions among the SAF leadership in Port Sudan regarding a potential U.S. proposed truce. However, the SAF remains divided, with some advocating for any ceasefire to be contingent on the RSF's withdrawal from key Sudanese cities, including El Fasher. The fall of El Fasher to the RSF grants them control over all 5 state capitals in Darfur, igniting profound concerns about the potential partition of Sudan along an east-west divide. Despite these fears, the Sudanese ambassador to the UK, Babakir El-Amin, has asserted that there is limited support for partition within Darfur itself, stating that the paramount priority is not a ceasefire but decisive action to halt the ongoing massacres in El Fasher. The United States has been persistently engaged since September, attempting to broker a peace plan agreed upon by Egypt, the UAE, and Saudi Arabia. This plan outlines a phased approach, commencing with a 3-month humanitarian pause, followed by a permanent ceasefire and a subsequent 9-month transition to a civilian-led government. Washington's hope is that the intensifying global attention on the protracted civil war will compel both the warring parties and their external sponsors to abandon their entrenched maximalist positions. However, early indications from a protracted SAF Security and Defense Council meeting suggest significant resistance to the U.S. plan, which was developed by Donald Trump's envoy to Africa, Massoud Boulos. Some SAF sources, acknowledging new pressure from Egypt to accept a ceasefire, have countered with demands for the RSF to be confined to designated camps outside urban centers, though the feasibility of enforcing such withdrawals remains uncertain. Speaking from London, Ambassador El-Amin has urged Washington to designate the RSF as a terrorist organization and to impose a comprehensive ban on all arms sales to the UAE. The UAE has consistently denied supplying weapons to the RSF. Ambassador El-Amin highlighted the RSF's open and public threats to commit further atrocities in cities and various parts of the country, detailing specific communities and ethnic groups targeted. He conveyed that regions previously untouched by violence are now under direct threat, with RSF members proudly making videos of themselves murdering innocent civilians, with some admitting to losing count of their victims. He critically observed that while SAF leadership was Exploring the U.S. peace plan. The RSF was actively attacking El Fasher. What is the reason for getting engaged in talks while they are still committing these kind of atrocities, he questioned, emphasizing that before any peace proposals can be discussed, the international community must demonstrate genuine seriousness in addressing the ongoing atrocities in El Fasher. He concluded by stating unequivocally that the immediate priority must be to halt these atrocities and what he described as this kind of genocide.